So here we are, the third of our four balcony briefings at HIREland, and I'm joined by Neil Bravery. Neil is from the HAE Association of Europe. So Neil, first of all, thank you very much for agreeing to do this. Let's start off by just telling everybody about the HAE Association of Europe.
So the HAE, we're the leading trade association for tool hire companies and plant hire companies in the UK and Ireland. Mustn't forget that important point. Formed in 1974. We've now got in excess of 700 members, UK and Ireland, North and Southern Ireland. And we're there to support all hire companies, whether you're a small independent employing half a dozen people with one depot, or whether you're a large national covering the whole of the UK. So, go a bit more depth on that. We're talking about terms and conditions of hire, Hire Secure, which is our own insurance policy, which covers our members for it's basically a loss and damage waiver. We have Safe Hire, which is our own regulated, approved by BSI, safety standard for the industry. But I think we'll talk about that a little bit later as a separate point. Safety guidance leaflets. We have a health and safety technical panel. So we're there as the voice as well. So we lobby government. We're there to help all of our members. And I always say that the members that get the most out of the association are the members that engage with us. So we're only a small team. We've got lots of resource behind us to help members run a profitable, safety-led hire company in the UK and Ireland.
And that really plays to the narrative of the show, doesn't it, about how we're going to make hirers safer, smarter and more sustainable. So that's very much part and parcel of that, isn't it? So tell me a little bit, obviously recruitment drive's important, you want to get as many members as possible. Why should hirers who may be at HIREland today, and why should hirers in Ireland think about joining the HAE?
So we want our hirers to be the best that they can be. So, not all hire companies run the same, but our standards, certainly with Safe Hire, puts everybody on a level playing field. So whether you're a large national, Sunbelt, Speedy, Brandon Hire Station, all the big boys, or whether you're an independent, we're all working equally to the same standard of hire. So many years ago, the Which Report, unfortunately, did a bit of a scathing report on the hire industry and the quality of equipment. And we as an association recognised we needed to do something about that. We wanted to make sure that not only are the consumers hiring equipment that is safe, but the environment that those pieces of equipment are being serviced and maintained in is also a safe environment for the employees in those hire companies. So Safe Hire underpins what we do as an association. The lobbying to government is really important. Dare I mention COVID, all those years ago now, it seems a long time ago. But when COVID first struck and the first lockdown happened, obviously Boris Johnson wanted construction to continue, but he forgot all about hire. He literally forgot about it. So we're banging on the door of government saying we need to be added to the lists of businesses allowed to trade. So it was the HAE that unlocked that door during the first lockdown to allow hire to continue to support construction. So that was just a simple thing, but it's a major thing for our members. And that's that huge part of lobbying government. We've just launched our QR codes. So previously, and we still do it, we still do our safety guidance leaflets. So we have a HSEQ team made up of hire companies around the UK, large and small, to sign off on all safety guidance for all the machinery. That's now on a QR code portal. So everyone will know QR codes are everywhere. If we look into the hall today, a lot of QR codes out there. We've got it in our safety guidance leaflets now. So you can literally have a sticker on your machine, scan it with a mobile phone, brings up the safety guidance leaflets. It's just another line. So there are numbers of benefits. I would encourage all of non-members to look at our website. There's a plethora of information on there.
I was just going to say that's most definitely what we need to do, isn't it? Is to get membership up. And I think also here in Ireland, where the economy is growing, where legislation is becoming more apparent, where there are major infrastructure projects and the supply chain. We were chatting to John Sisk earlier, and they want their supply chain to be fully compliant, and that's HIRE is a big part of that. Really, this is a ringing endorsement, is it not, as to why hirers should join an association like yours?
Absolutely. Look, you can have your BS 5750s, you can have all your ISOs. But the key point for our members and the non-members to understand is Safe Hire is written for hire, and it's backed by the BSI, the British Standards Institute. So it's written for hire. It's not rather than trying to say, well, just because I've got an ISO and a BS 5750. This is about looking at the equipment that's going out on hire and the operations and the businesses that sit behind them. Are they operating safely? So if you go back to John Sisk, they want to ensure what's rocking up on site is correct, it's safe, it's being delivered with vehicles that are safe, it's coming from an organisation that takes safety seriously. Because let's face it, Jeff, every piece of equipment out there is going to kill you if you don't operate it safely.
I think that really does bring it into focus, doesn't it, when we look at the conversations that we've had here today with the role of associations, the way that you can help hirers to be safe, compliant and more sustainable is going to win them work.
Of course it will. It will absolutely win them work. A big part of what we're trying to do now is making sure that Safe Hire, for the likes of people like John Sisk, the Balfour Beatties of this world, the large construction companies, that they understand what Safe Hire is and they recognise what the hirers are going through from an audit process to meet that standard. It's not a tick boxing exercise here. We have auditors from the Hire Association that visit these premises to audit their processes from a paperwork standard, but more importantly, they're looking at the kit. They want to make sure that kit is safe to go out on hire.
A really important point. You can set up anything, can't you? But if we're not measuring it, we're not managing it, we're not reporting on it. So just a couple of final questions, if I may. The level of inquiries to join the association, are you seeing that that's growing and more people thinking about joining organisations such as yours or your organisation?
There's a twofold answer to that one, Jeff. So we've seen, let's say, quite a big movement in the larger hire companies across the UK. They're sort of reducing their depot numbers. And what we're seeing now is independents. They're growing, or people are thinking about going into hire, starting out a brand new business, are coming to us and saying, look, HAE, where do we start? Where's the first thing? So, okay, you join as a member, here are your terms and conditions of hire. Free from the HAE for you. Okay, well, I'm taking on 2 members of staff. What do I do about employment contracts? You're a member of the HAE, here is your free employment contract for your members of staff. So straight out off the bat, they haven't got to find those additional costs.
So you're acting as a consultative service, aren't you, in that regard?
Yeah. So there's 2 points. So the second point to that, we're seeing more supplier members joining the Hire Association as suppliers. So we offer lots of benefits to our supplier members. We do the podcast as well. So again, allowing a supplier to show their wares via a podcast. Because what we want is we want HAE hire members buying from HAE supplier members, all sitting under that lovely umbrella together and helping each other. And that's where we come in as the association.
Listen, you've given us a real in-depth view there. I'll sum up in a moment, but just in closing, who are you here with today? We've mentioned you've got your little team, but who was here today?
Well, so we have Kelly Raven, who's head of our operations and membership services in Birmingham, and Nikki Wiley, who looks after our training and development. So they're both here today to talk to current members in Ireland and obviously prospective members that may wish to join. The point I'd like to make, Jeff, on the training, training is paramount for our industry. Okay, so Nikki runs our whole training department. We listen to hirers. What do hirers want? Is it a case of they need driver training? Do they need hire desk training? Taking on apprentices? We design courses for our members. It's member-led. Remembering we're a not-for-profit organisation, so everything we do, every pound we generate goes back into the members. So training is paramount, so we're at the forefront of that. And look, let's be honest, Jeff, we have an ageing workforce in hire. We have an ageing workforce in construction. So part of the Hire Association's sort of mantra out there is to try and encourage the youngsters to take this as an opportunity to come into this sector. I've been in it north of 35 years now, and still to this day when I speak to people, say, how did you get into hire? I sort of fell into it. Well, that's fine, but we want people to make a conscious choice to say, right, okay, I want to get into hire. How do I do that? Because a hire is not necessarily just about being on a hire counter or being in a workshop. You could be somebody who wants to be an accountant, but you could be working in hire. You could be in marketing, you could be working in hire. You could be in buying, you're working in hire. There are so many avenues to hire, not just necessarily what everyone sees on a day-to-day basis on a hire counter or a driver delivering equipment.
There's a really fascinating insight there. I've learned an awful lot there, and I'm sure hirers both here on the floor and watching this as well. So, you know, we may have some misplaced perceptions of associations, but listen, just unpack some of the things that Neil was talking about doing there, about how that consultancy service can help, about how that training can help, about how consistency and compliance can help to win work. So visit the Hire Association Europe. If you're on the show floor, visit them by the exit, as we said. If you're watching this video, go online, watch Neil on his podcast and find out more about the Hire Association of Europe.